In this video, we're going to focus on how we can convert a chart into a PDF, and we're going to use the jsPDF library for that. And you might notice that in the video, I will always say PDF.js, but I'm referring to jsPDF. So there was a mistake in the video. However, if you click on it, you will see here we get the sales record, we can indicate the exact name, and we can even put in a specific text here, and we have a nice PDF file in here. So let's start to explore how we can do this. In this video, we're going to explore how to export charts to PDF with PDF.js in Chartjs. So this question came from one of my other videos about how to sum data point values from stack bar chart in Chartjs. And if you scroll down here, you can see this question came from Renzo Andre Silva Miranda. A special thank you to Renzo for asking this question. And this is what Renzo asked. Thanks a lot for your help. You're my hero. Well, thank you very much for your compliment. And he asked the following: how can I export Chartjs in PDF? Thanks again for sharing these videos. So let's start to explore this, because this question was not only asked by Renzo, but there was also another one and we're going to PDF.js. So I thought these two can be merged now nicely together into a nice topic video. But of course, I will make more in-depth videos about PDF.js eventually. So that will be separate from this specific question. Let's start to work on it. And what I need here, first of all, is to get my default code. So to get a default code, go to chartjs3.com, getting started. Go to this specific URL, and for some reason, my Google Chrome gives this error here. But on Firefox, it works fine. So if we scroll down here, I'm going to copy this chunk of code, and that's the code we need to have. And if you want to understand what this code does, I have a specific video here above that shows exactly how everything is built in here. So we're going to paste this in here, and what I'm going to do here, for me, this is not necessary for you. I just paste the title here so I know the title of this specific video. Save that and refresh, and there we are. So now we have a wonderful chart here, and what we need to do is the following. Well, you might say, well, to convert this quickly into a PDF, we could do here on Google Chrome, Command P, and then we have here, of course, our print version. We can also save this in PDF. But of course, this might not always be the most desirable structure. So it takes some time here. You can see here, there you are. It creates something. We can adjust the size maybe. You can select here, save as PDF, and there you are. This is what I do a lot with Bootstrap. With Bootstrap, you can control the size, and then you have CSS specifically for print. But I can imagine maybe you don't want to do this. You want it in a more different way, or a more concise way where you can control it. So for that, what we need is PDF.js. So to get the latest version, which is 2.11.338, this is the one, and it's being developed by Mozilla Firefox, which is absolutely phenomenal because they are very up to date with their item. So we're going to grab this one here. You can just go to cdnjs.com for the exact library. I'm going to copy this, and you can see here there's many different options. I haven't go in depth into those, and most likely some of them are very suitable as well. But for now, we're only going to focus on how we just quickly get it into a PDF form. So select this one here. This is the pdf.min.js version 2.11++. So what I will do next is I'm going to paste this in here. Once I paste this in here, I'm going to save this. And once I save that, I can refresh here. And so once refreshed, you can see here it doesn't do anything, of course. So what we need to do is two things here. We're going to put in here button, and then once we put the button here, it will download. And basically what it does, because if you do like this, right click right now and then save image as, and we say here chart, it will download it anyway by default. Chartjs allow this flexibility here already. However, we don't want the image. What we want is a PDF. And what we need to do then is we need to do certain adjustments, because basically we need to grab this image, convert it into, we need to grab this canvas, convert it into an image, and from the image we convert it into a PDF. So that's like a double structure that we have to work on. So let's start to do this. So in here, what we're going to do here is now we're going to grab a few items. And what we're going to do is the following. We're going to create here a button. Well, let's make this button first. And we say here this button. And in this button, we can say here on click. And I'll just say here download. Oh, make sure you put it between there. Download PDF. So we have this one here, and then we say here PDF version. Alright, so once we have that one, the next thing what we need to do, of course, here we need to get the function. So we say here function, and then we say here download PDF, and then in here we can start working. So what we want to do here, the first thing what we need is we need to get basically the canvas here. We want to grab this specific canvas, which is this item here. And you might say we can use this. Well, in this case we cannot, and the reason why is this here will load everything, and I don't want to load everything. I only want to grab this specific item. So we're going to grab this here, and I'm just going to say here new constant, and let's say here PDF chart. I'm just going to call it PDF chart equals this. So we want to convert this canvas into a PDF version, so that's why I'm just giving it PDF chart. You can give it anything you want, whatever makes sense to you. So next, well, let me just put in here some extra enter so we have a more view here. The next thing what we need to do here is basically start to create the image. So we're going to create the image, and what we did here is right click. We cannot do this now anymore because we need to use a automated way. So what we're going to do here, well, let's say this one here, create image, and then when we create the image we'll say here constant, and then we can just say here well, let's say here the PDF chart, and then we can just say here image. I guess that will be probably the most one. Maybe this should be the canvas and then canvas image. I guess that should be even a more logical term. So we say canvas here and then canvas image here. Basically what we're going to do is we're going to grab now the image, right? Or it's like in behind the scenes it does like a right click version. So then we say here the following. We say here we're going to grab your canvas, which is basically this. Then we say dot, we say to data URL with capitalized letters. And basically in here we can specify now the type of image we want. And in our case you can use PNG, but PNG can make it transparent, and that can create a problem. What I'm going to do is I'm going to force it into a JPEG. That will make a transparent background black. That's what right now we have, a transparent background. You will see it later on, and if you remember, if we do a right click you will see that as well. So don't worry about it, we're going to solve that issue as well. So we have this, so we say image JPEG, comma, and then we just say ratio 1:1, 1:0, so 1.0, so it keeps the quality identical. So what we want to do now is, once we have created this, we want to make sure that the image, you can just put here and enter, the image must go to PDF. So that's what we're going to do here next, because if we do this, let me show you this, because if you see what's happening, you will understand more better what we're doing. So if I save this now, if I refresh, open up the developer tab, and if I press here on this button, look what happens. We get now this image, but this image is in I don't know exactly, I guess CSV code or something. It's like all codes, and all this code converts into a specific image code. So that's it. So this is very important. So we're going to grab this one, and it's a huge chunk of characters here. So don't worry about that, but that is basically the image, because as I said, if I save this right now by default and I click on this, look what happened. This is a PNG. The background is gray, and that's because these in a MacBook this background is default gray, meaning that this item or this image is transparent. Very important here. And this you will see later on. We will get a slight conflict, but we're going to solve that conflict, so no need to worry about anything. So what we're going to do is next. We're going to say here, alright, let's create the file. So let's say here PDF. So we say let PDF, and then we say here new, and then here we're going to start using the jsPDF command here. So let's put in here, and we'll just leave it like this for now. I'm going to create a new item. So this is a new object, and this object is the jsPDF. And then what we're going to say here, we're going to say here a document, oh sorry, not document, PDF, that's the file, dot, and then we say set font size of 20. So if ever we want to type something, we have now a font size item in here. And then next what we want to do now is, because this is now the image itself, we want to put this image into our PDF file here. So we say PDF dot, and then we're going to say here add image, And this is a command basically related to the jsPDF object. And then here, what image are we going to add? Copy this here, which is this item here, basically, or that. That's all this chunk of code we had here, remember? And then we're going to say here, comma, then a string, because what is the image type? We're going to say JPEG, caps locks, all, then comma, and then we want to put like a margin, right? Top, bottom, and then the size of this entire item. So we say here, 15 pixels to the left, then 15 pixels to the right. Oh, sorry, top. This is left, so from left to right, so it's like a margin. Remember, like if you have a Word document, you want to have like a space here on the side. And then here top as well, 15. And then finally what we're going to do here is we're going to say the size of the image, a width of 280 pixels by 150 pixels. Or I'm not sure if this is really pixels, this might be anything else. Basically what is in a document a common term. I think there's an other term for this. Margin, I'm not sure, it's not inch, it's something else. Anyway, doesn't matter so much. I will make another video that goes deeper into jsPDF or PDF.js. So anyway, don't worry about that. So next, what we're going to do here is, once we have this, we're going to say here, pdf.save, then all what we want to do here now is we're going to give this a proper name. So let's say here this will be we can say mychart.pdf, which is basically any name you want to give. You can say chart or sales records, whatever. So if I save this now, we refresh, you can see it takes some time to load, and then we click here on the PDF version. Alright, so now we get an error. If you notice this error, let me explain what's going on here. There's sometimes an error, and I'm not sure if it's because we're using Google Chrome. In Firefox, maybe it works because it's built for Firefox, so most likely Firefox will have it. So we might need something here. So what do we need here? And this is an error that I first had and I couldn't figure out. It's very hard to find. Eventually, what we need here is this. I forgot to show this one, or on purpose, I just wait for it. So basically, this one here, jspdf.debug.js. This is a link specifically if you get errors like this, because we did everything correct, but for some reason it just doesn't recognize. So it doesn't recognize the JS object in this case. So what we're going to do here, very simple. We're going to paste this in here. Make sure you load this after the original PDF min.js. Why? Because this one needs to load first, and this one is dependent on whatever is loaded here. So then what I want to do is just want to get the proper script code, remove all of this here with this. We're going to replace that. We're going to cut out this, put it in here. So if we save this now, refresh, and now we have this, and as you can see here, it loads, and then it gets here the sales record. So once we have this, you can see what we have here. We have a problem. We have two problems. Our item is too big. Can we change the image? So I guess here, this item here, I'm not really certain what exactly this is. This must be maybe, not centimeter. I guess there's a term here. What this is, not sure. I guess, anyway, doesn't matter what the term is for now, but that is not pixels. I guarantee you it's not pixels. It's another one that we're going to work with. So what we want to do here, what we have to do now is to, instead of doing this, we're going to grab this and make this a landscape. So how do we do a landscape? By default, it is a A4 shape. I forgot what's the term for it, but anyway. What I want to do here then is to convert it into a landscape. So we say here landscape. By default, it is the standard A4 shape that we are used to in Word. So if I do this now and save this, refresh, click on this now, we should have it now in the expected shape. Alright, we have a landscape, and then we have here, and you might say, well, what happened here with Sunday? Don't worry, nothing happened with Sunday. What is the issue is that Sunday is by default a dark color, or black to be honest, or specific. You can see here it's a black color, and of course our background is an issue now. So let's solve this specific background issue. So what I'm going to do here now is we're going to make a simple plugin here that will pinpoint the background here. So that will be another exercise here. So in here, what I'm going to do here is a constant. And this constant, we can just give it a proper name. So let's give this our background color constant. But this constant here, we need to put it also down here, we're going to say here this item here after the plugins of options. We say here comma, then we say plugins, and then we're going to register this specific background color plugin, BG color. So this is important. We're going to use this here, and I'm going to use this here, and then I'm going to say ID. ID is not necessary, but I highly recommend it to keep it same, but you can give it another name. Why is this necessary, or why is this used? This is for when we are going to put in here a specific option. And I like to keep them consistent, but it's up to you if you want. If you are going to give this a different name, then later on you will have a different name. Here I'm going to show you that. Don't worry about that. So we're going to cover that as well. So we say ID, but I would recommend give it consistent. It's easier for yourself. So we say here ID, and then in here we're going to say here before draw, and this is regarding to timing. And what we're going to do here, timing will say when are we going to draw certain items. What we want to draw here is basically this. We want to convert this here into a white background, and the moment we do that, it will become like this. So that, because what is happening, the moment we print, as you can see here, so the background is white, here is white, but once we save it in the PDF, it converts it into black, because the background here not really white, it's just transparent, and that has a counter effect on our PDF. So let's start to do this. So the drawing here before draw is a timing focus. When are we going to draw? We want to draw at the very beginning, basically the background first, and then we think about the grid lines that should be on top of the background, because if we make our background white and we draw it after the grid lines will disappear because they are behind. Just think about it like layers. Which one comes first and which one will be on top of each other. So we want the background at the very bottom, then we want the grid lines, and then after what we want to have maybe is these items here, and at the very top, as you can see here, we want the tooltip, so that the tooltip will not be overlapped by any other item. So that's timing. Very, very important concept to remember, especially if we're going to do a lot more items with this. So what we're going to do here, we're going to grab here certain variables. We say here the chart, comma, I guess here what we can do here is the options, and I think that will be more than enough. Maybe we need the steps, I'm not sure, I don't think so. So then what I want to do here is a expression arrow function. Basically this is because we're going to create here callback, which is a function in itself, and then we say here curly braces. So in the curly braces, put enter, and then we say here constant. And in this constant, we're going to say here three items. We're going to say the CTX, which is basically the chart itself, which is the chart canvas. And then we're going to say here the width, which is extremely useful for us, and of course the height. So once we have this, we say this equals the chart. So now we have this. What we want to do here, the width refers to the width of this entire item here. And then the height will refer to the item here, height of the canvas. And I want this because I want to convert this, or I want to give this a color that will cover the entire canvas itself. So we don't have anymore a black background color or a transparency that converts into black. So what we're going to do here is the following. Well, what we can say here is, we're going to say the following. We say here, let's double check. What we want to do here is CTX. So we're going to grab the CTX here, and then I want to say the CTX will be fill style. And this fill style here will be a background color. But this background color, well, let's put in here, let's say white for now. And then what I want to make sure is that this CTX.fill, so basically we're making a square. And this square is starting at the very corner up, going up to very width at the end, and going up to down here, covering everything. It makes sense. So then we say here fill rect, which is a rectangular, or rectangle, sorry, rectangle, which is a rectangle shape, and that of course will be our pixel amount. So we have to indicate here our starting pixel. 0, 0 is here, so we say here 0. So starting at the, so this is, let me explain this quickly. So we have x1, oh sorry, x0, y0, and then we have here the x1 and the y1. So here basically this is the starting point. This is the starting point at the left side on the x-axis, means here. Where are we going to start? We're going to put on 0, And 0 is, if you open up here with the inspector, you will see this. 0, 0 is this. It's the corner here. If we go 0, and let's see here, you can see here the width is 700. So if I would say start at 350, it would be somewhere in the middle here. And if I want, you can see also the height. You can see in the tooltip, I'm not able to go up, as you can see, it will disappear the tooltip, but you see 700 multiplied by 350. This is a width of 700. Height is 350 here. So we're going to say here, corner up, 0, 0 is 0. Well, that's the corner here. Down here will be 0. And then the Y value would be 350 as starting point, because it starts at the very bottom. So that's very important to remember. But in this case, you don't have to study this too much. If you want to go into drawing, that's really important. So in our case here, we already have the width, which is 700. So I just say here, so our starting point, this is a starting point X. So what is our ending point? 700. So we say start at 0 and go all to the end here and make this white. And then we say the same on the Y0. Y0 is starting at 0 top and go all the bottom on Y1, which is the height. And the full height is 350, so it go at the until the very bottom here. So we say this width, comma, height. You can also put in pixels, but there's the issue if you do pixels. What if your chart changes in shape or it changes in height? Maybe you have a smaller size, mobile responsive, and then you get an issue here. So that's why we get this. It will understand that this is a automated value. So once we have this, we can grab this here now, and then what we can do after this, we have to do here ctx.restore, meaning I want to now remove this afterwards. So I don't want to save these adjustments, because if I save these adjustments after the settings here, it will convert any other item as well with the color. So if I'm going to save this now, refresh, all right, you can see a lot happen here. Let's grab this, put it in here. You can see here now we have a white item here, which is beautiful, and now we basically solve it. However, I want to just do one more item here just for you, so you have an extra understanding of this. Maybe you say, well, this is all fancy, but how can I do this? Because maybe you don't want, if you make this is a plugin, and I want to explain this one now here. So what about if I just want to put it somewhere in here? So this is why I was referring to as the ID. ID is necessary only if you have it here in the options, but if you've seen plugins and now you really learn how to make a plugin more customized and really give users access to it, and this could be maybe in a separate file, like what we're doing with plugins. So we're going to say here comma. And here in the options, you can see here in the options it's plugins. Then here, you can say here BG color, which is this plugin item or object. And then in here, we could say here, this could be a new name, and that's why we have this ID here. We'll recognize with this. So if we would say here this ABC, then the other one would be also ABC. I'll show you later on. And we could say here the following. We say here option dot maybe background color, and this would be then here specifically the background color here, and this could be white, or we make this blue. You will see exactly what happened there. So if I do this and save this, let's go back here, refresh. All right, it loads a bit. I'm sorry, I guess it's quite slow. Or hold on, options is not defined. All right, fair enough. Why is it not defined? I'm going to explain to you. String value. Sorry about that. Save that. Make sure you put single quotation string, because it's a string value referring to this object here. Save that. Refresh. Now it works. Alright, so we have here, this is blue, background color. I have no idea why this suddenly changes into this. Did I have here something wrong? Maybe I will give it another item, because this should not happen. The fill style, option, oh, alright, sorry. Options with S. Save that, refresh. Still doesn't work, surprisingly. Options with S. Background color, maybe let's say background color 2. I'm not sure if we have here something that is conflicting with it. Alright, surprisingly this is conflicting. Hold on. Alright, so I figured out, I realized now, because I forgot an item here that I thought was obsolete. So, first of all, no need for these items here. And let's put away this. Let's put in options background color. So this is correct. I'm going to grab this here and put it in here. So this, because this is an object itself, so it should not have strings. So that was my mistake as well. And this will refer to this. So this is correct, but what we are missing here, and this was the steps. This one got me really tricky. This was a tricky one. So we have to put in steps here. Apparently this is essential for giving a background color here. So if I save this now, refresh, now you can see we get this very bright blue. Of course, I don't want this. So if I do this now in pink, let's see what happens here. There you are. So this is a clear sign that it works now nicely. So what we want to do here, of course, this should be just white. So you can put it in white here, but this will eventually just grab the white color here, and there we are. Once we did that, white, save this, click on this, and now we get our nice item here. Beautiful. So what we could do here as a very, very last item here is the following. We will scroll down here, put in here, and maybe we want to add up some extra text. So I'm going to put in one thing, and I will go deeper in it in my series of jsPDF. So we say here PDF dot, then we just say we want to add new text here, and this text will start also at 15 by 15, so 15 bottom, 15 top, or 15 left and 15 top. And then we say here, well, let's put an R comma, and we can put here a paragraph. This, of course, could be a specific ID for now, or a reference to any other paragraph here. For now, I'll just make very simple. We have this here, we can just say, we have discovered that our sales on Monday is the highest. Save this. Go back here, refresh. Alright, so you can see it doesn't show up here on our file or on the HTML file because we only inserted here into the PDF itself. So if we click on this, now we click on the sales record here, and you can see we get here now something above because we put it in here. Of course, we can play around with this, and I am going to go more deeper in this eventually in a specific series for this that I will show. Once that series is done, you will see it here somewhere right now on the link. But this is basically what you have here now, how we convert it into a file on PDF.